To be honest with you, I'm a little disappointed in the color. This looks like pretty much nothing. This makes no sense. Why even have a color? Hey guys, today I'm gonna be trying out new makeup. I'm gonna do half of my face with the new stuff, and then I'm gonna compare it to older things that I already have in my collection to see if I really needed these products or not. Now, let's be real, we don't actually need makeup, so maybe that was the wrong word to use, but I'm sure you get what I'm saying. Just did these things actually fill a hole in my collection, or were they completely unnecessary? So if you watched my last video when I talked about putting myself on a budget for this year, I just wanna make it clear that these products that I'm going to be trying out, I bought in the previous couple of weeks. So everything was pre-2025. So it's not counting toward my new budget. And also the Sephora items that I bought were with gift cards that I got for my birthday back in November. I had 100 on each. So I had $200 worth, and I didn't use the full amount. I just bought a couple of things. So I still have more to spend on these, which I'll probably do at some point. But I just wanted to put that out there before we start. And also, I have an item or two that are PR, so I'll mention that when we get to it. So I guess let's start out with my brows first. I got this new brow lifting gel set from Essence. This was something that was released, I want to say back in October, November. I got it back then, but I just haven't had a chance to review it on my channel yet. So this appears to be a dupe for the Anastasia Brow Freeze, which I also have in my collection. I've had this for a while. So I was curious to see how they compare to each other and whether or not I like the Essence one more. I will say the container that it comes in is huge. And one thing that I already love right off the bat is that Essence comes with a little brush, like a little spoolie. Right in the packaging, there's a little clip where you can attach it, and it's, whoop, I was gonna say it stays there, but apparently not. So let me just show you what this looks like. The Anastasia one doesn't come with a spoolie. You have to buy it separately. And even when you do, then there's no place to store it. I love that this has this in here. And then when you remove the lid, inside there's just this jelly textured product. I have used it a couple of times, but I've never done a direct comparison to the Anastasia. So that's what I wanted to do in today's video. I do like this. I think so far it performs well. But without doing a direct comparison, I don't know if it performs better than the ABH or not. It does seem like a really similar product. So I'm just gonna put this on this brow, and then I'll use the ABH on the other side. And I also wanted to mention that e.l.f. has another product really similar to this. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but I've owned that one in the past, and I felt like it didn't hold quite as long as the Anastasia one did. So I'm hoping that the Essence one is different. So next up, let's try the Anastasia one. I have to say there's a huge difference in the size of the product. You're getting a lot more with the Essence, but oddly, it doesn't have the actual amount of the product on the back. I'm looking everywhere. I can't see how much is in here. The Anastasia has 8 grams or 0.28 ounces. So if I can find out what's in the Essence, I'll put it on the screen, but I don't know if it's going to say on the website. I'm guessing it must have had some outer packaging that I discarded, and that might have said how much was in here. But either way, it looks a lot bigger. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this other brow spoolie that I got from ColourPop, and I'm going to use the Anastasia over here. It really does feel exactly the same. It has that jelly-like texture and extreme hold. It gives that laminated look to your brows. So, I mean, right off the start, I'm not noticing any difference, but I will be curious to see how these hold up throughout the day, and I'll be showing a wear test. So I'm gonna let this sit and dry, and we'll go on to other things, and then I'll go back and fill in my brows a little bit later. So next up, let's talk eyeshadow, because the formula that I'm gonna be using has probably some fallout to it. It's glittery, so I wanna do my foundation after my eyeshadow in case there's any fallout. So I feel like you guys are gonna kill me when you see what I bought, but hear me out. There was a reason, there's a method to my madness. So I got one of these Patrick Ta eyeshadow duos, and I know I've been like really critical of him and his brand and all of that lately, and I still feel that way, trust me. But one of you guys, and if you're watching, let us know in the comments if this was you. Someone told me that they were watching another content creator here on YouTube review this particular eyeshadow duo because they all seem to have slightly different finishes. This is called Still at the Club. So it has these beautiful browns in it. And this person was saying that they couldn't find anything as sparkly as this in their collection. Basically, that what Patrick Ta was saying was correct. And I just didn't believe it. I have to see for myself, because when I watched his video talking about the pearls that are in this formula and holding it under special lighting, I just felt like it was complete BS. They just really didn't look any more sparkly than other things that I own. So I wanted to do a direct comparison, see if these are really truly worth the hype. And I figured if I give him $42 of my gift card money and it saves a whole bunch of other people from buying this product, if it's not worth it, then it's not necessarily a bad thing. So I'll show you guys what this looks like swatched first by itself. You have two colors in here. This bottom one is more of a satin finish. It's not really that sparkly. And then the top one is the one that has all the glitter. So when I put my fingers into it, you can see there's a definite difference in texture. And then when you see it swatched on my hand, I mean, yes, that top swatch is sparkly. It is shiny, but I feel like I have shadows in my collection that would beat this. So I'm going to swatch those really fast, and then we can kind of put them on head to head and see which one is better. All right, so I tried to get some colors that were similar to this. I'm not going to be able to find an exact match, obviously, but we're going to see how close we can get at least to the texture. So the first product I found is the Urban Decay Moondust Shadow in the shade Lithium. So this is also kind of a deep taupey gray. I believe this color is a little bit warmer than the Patrick Ta one. And yeah, this one definitely has a lot of sparkle to it. I'll let you guys be the judge, but I think it comes pretty darn close. Again, it's a slightly different color, but they both have a super shiny, wet kind of finish to them. The next product I found is from Moira, and this is their Star Show Shadow Pot in the shade Eureka. This is also a deep gray color, and I remember this having a lot of impact, like very wet look, very sparkly. So I'm just going to swatch this one below the Urban Decay shadow. Oh yeah, look at that. That is gorgeous. Okay, so again, we have the Patrick Ta, Urban Decay, then this is the Moira one down here. Again, very shiny. The Moira is super affordable, and that looks absolutely stunning. Very, very shiny. Next up, we have the Hourglass Scattered Light Shadow in the shade Smoke. This is one that I thought of right away. I feel like the color is pretty close, and it does have those little micro glitters in the formula. So let's see what this looks like. It's definitely a warmer color than the Patrick Ta. This one is definitely more brown, but I don't think it's actually as sparkly as the others. This one is much more subtle. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit glittery, but not over the top, I think you might like the Hourglass one. It's a lot more subtle than the other options. So I wouldn't say that this one really compares that much. And then also just quickly, I want to show it next to the Half Magic Glitter Puck, and this is in the shade Cyber Diamond. So again, it is a silver. It's not really a dark gray like the Patrick Ta, but I just want to show you how sparkly this is next to that one. So yeah, this is the swatch right down here at the bottom. You can see just how reflective that is. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I think, to me, just looking at it next to a lot of the other options that I have, I don't see a huge difference other than the Hourglass one. I don't think that compares. So I'm just going to put the Patrick Ta over on this eye where I'm putting all the new products. And then I think for the other eye, I don't know which one to use. I don't know whether I want the Urban Decay or the Moira eyeshadow. I think the Urban Decay is closer in terms of the color. So I think I'm probably going to use that one. But at the same time, it is quite a bit warmer in tone. So my eyes are not going to look the same. But I do think that they both have the same amount of glitter. From what I can see in the mirror, I don't know if that's what you're noticing on camera, but both of these options look pretty much the same to me. So, all right, next for mascara, I did buy the new one from Haus Labs. I'm so curious. I feel like even though I've been using so many tubing formulas lately, I still cannot resist a new mascara formula. There's just something about it that sucks me in every time, and I think it's because I don't wear false lashes, so I'm always trying to find a mascara that's going to achieve that look without having to wear the falsies, and some of them do come pretty close, but I do feel like mascaras can be really hit or miss. So this one comes in a nice silver tube. I'll just show you what the wand looks like. It's just a pretty standard mascara brush. It's not one of the silicone wands that pokes you in the eye. It's the softer kind. It's like a more traditional traditional style mascara wand. So this is supposed to give you both length and volume. It's not a tubing mascara, it's a regular one. So applying this one, it feels like kind of a drier formula and it's drying very, very quickly. I don't think I'm even going to be able to go in and do a second coat. I'll try, but it's just drying down really fast. And I am seeing some volume, maybe not as much length as I would like, but it's not bad. I don't think it's clumpy. It gives a nice fanned out effect, but it also feels a little heavy. I think this might weigh my lashes down. We'll see. So here's what it looks like. I think it's pretty nice. I think it did a good job. My lashes look a lot fuller. They definitely look a little bit more curled up. It's not completely blowing me away, but it's not bad. So now I want to use, I guess, the Hourglass tubing mascara because this is the one that I've been using the most lately. And then we'll kind of compare both sides and see what's what. So this Hourglass formula I know doesn't smudge. It doesn't flake. It just removes with warm water at the end of the night. And it gives my lashes a lot of length and volume. Okay, so what I'm noticing right away is that the Hourglass side is giving me a lot more lift. And I know this is my more hooded eye, so it usually looks a little bit droopier, but I almost feel like it looks a little bit more open on this side just because of the mascara and how my lashes are curving more upward. And the Haus Labs side, my lashes look a lot straighter. And again, I know it's very hard to tell on camera, but I do think I'm getting more length on the Hourglass side. I think in terms of volume, they're pretty similar, but overall, I'm feeling like I probably did not need to buy the Haus Labs just because when I look in the mirror, I just like the Hourglass side better. And I know that this formula is not going to run under my eyes. So I think in 2025, I am going to be much more selective about the mascaras that I try. I'm not going to buy every single one because, like I said, more often than not, I just go back to the tubing formulas that I wear all the time. So anyway, eyes are done. Let me just see how my brows are doing. They still feel a little bit sticky, so I think I'm going to wait on those. Let's dive into foundation. So recently I got the new Maybelline lifter sticks, and I did try this out in a video already, but I said I was going to try it again and maybe set it with powder and see if I like it better because it just made my skin look very shiny. And I wasn't expecting that because I normally have very dry skin. So I want to use this on this side of my face, and then on the other side, I'm going to use my Lancome foundation stick, which is probably my favorite of my stick foundations that I have. So I figured it would be good to see if I really needed to buy this Maybelline one or if I should have just stuck with this one. So one thing I will say is that the Maybelline is a really good color match for me, and it's sort of rare to find that at the drugstore. This is in the shade 10, and I have the Lancome in the shade 260, which also isn't a bad match. I just think the Maybelline is a little bit better. So here we have the Maybelline on the top and the Lancome on the bottom. I think the Maybelline one has a little bit more pink in it, so it's more similar to my skin. The Lancome is a neutral undertone. So again, it's not bad. I don't think it looks terribly yellow on me, but it doesn't blend in quite as seamlessly as the Maybelline does. So let's start with the Maybelline over here. I feel like these both have a similar amount of coverage. They're both about medium. So what I usually do is just blend in stick foundations with my fingers because they're a little bit of a thicker, heavier cream formula, and the warmth from your fingers really helps to blend them in. And this Maybelline one has a nice silky feel. I love the texture of it, and I feel like it doesn't cling to dry patches or make my skin look particularly dry. So I liked that about it. And like I said, I think the color is pretty much perfect. So that's that side. And then over here we have the Lancome. This one I do think is silkier. This one kind of glides a little bit easier across your skin. And the texture is more powdery on this one, which normally I wouldn't like having dry skin, but even though it has that more powdery feel, it doesn't feel dry. I think it just makes it have a little bit more slip, and it gives your skin the most beautiful airbrushed-like quality. It just makes your pores kind of disappear. So I really like how smoothing this looks on my skin. It looks really beautiful. So looking at both sides, this is the Lancome. I think it looks a little bit more matte over here, and then the Maybelline side looks a little more glowy, but I don't think it's too bad. I think part of the problem is that that last time I tried the Maybelline, I put it on top of a Revlon sunscreen that I think had a little bit of glow to it. And today I'm wearing a sunscreen that's a little bit more matte. So I'm happy to see that the lifter stick doesn't look quite as oily as it did the first time. I guess I can now blame that on the Revlon sunscreen. So that's a good thing. I mean, I actually do like the way that it looks. I think the Lancome has slightly better coverage. This side might have to be built up just a little bit more. I'm just gonna apply more on my cheek. But I think for quick and easy coverage, this might be a pretty good option, especially if you have dry skin. For me, it's hard to find a foundation stick that actually looks smooth and it doesn't grab to everything. So I actually like both of these, and I'm starting to think I even like the Maybelline side more. As this is settling into my skin, the Lancome side is looking a little bit drier than the Maybelline. And I don't really remember this looking dry on me, but I also found this, I want to say it was like back in the springtime, and my skin wasn't as dry as it is now. So maybe this is something that I just shouldn't use in the winter as much. This one still looks really nice. So I would say the Maybelline one might actually be something worth picking up. Okay, so the next product is one that I got in PR. This is from Huda Beauty, and it's her new Easy Bake Powder in the shade Ube Birthday Cake. So I know this is like really popular right now. It's going viral. She just released it recently, and I'm not even sure if as of today it's available at the Sephora website yet, but I know it's coming soon. And this powder is the craziest like bright lilac color. It looks so pretty, and I've seen a lot of people online wondering if this might actually appear like a blush on your skin. So I definitely want to put that to the test. I do have the regular Huda Beauty powder in the Cherry Blossom shade, and compared to this one, it almost doesn't look pink. I figured I would put one on one side. Actually, I'm holding them wrong. This is the new makeup side over here. So I figured I'd put these to the test as well, and we'll see if this actually shows up this color on your skin, because that would be kind of interesting. By the way, this is her new style of packaging with her new logo. It's the exact same formula. She just changed the packaging. So I'll just quickly show you a close-up of what this color looks like. It is definitely very bright. So I don't know what this is gonna look like, but it is supposed to be very brightening under your eyes. So she sent over these little powder puffs. I'm just gonna pat a little bit of this under my eyes. I love Huda's powder formula. It makes such a beautiful airbrushed effect to your skin. So as I'm patting this in, I think it does give my under eye area a slight bit of rosiness, but not as much as a blush would. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dust away some of the excess. I definitely see just a tiny little hint of pink under my eyes. And honestly, I don't know if that's a bad thing, but I also don't know if it's really doing anything. I don't feel like it looks particularly brightening. Let's take a look at it next to the Cherry Blossom shade on the other side. This one actually looks so much brighter when I'm putting it on. I do think the color blends into my skin tone a little bit more, and it just looks very natural, while this one gives a little bit more of a rosy effect, but it's so slight. It's so subtle. I don't know that I necessarily needed it, especially because I'm gonna apply blush. I think if it was going to color correct or do something more dramatic, it might make sense. I'm just not seeing that much of a difference from side to side, so I think if I had gone out and purchased this new shade with my own money, I might have been a little bit disappointed that it didn't do something like super extra. What do you all think? Do you see like a really big difference from side to side or not? I don't know. I think it looks crazy bright in the jar, but when you actually put it on, it shears out quite a bit. So I'm thinking it's not necessarily something that you have to like rush right out and buy. Another thing that she sent was her blush filter liquid blush in the shade Ube Cream. So it's this beautiful pink shade. I'm a big fan of this formula. I love how it's kind of a blurring blush, and it is a liquid formula. It comes in the same really pretty shade as the powder. So I love this cool toned kind of purpley pink. I'll just do a quick swatch on my hands so you can see what this color looks like. It reminds me a lot of some of the K-Beauty blushes that I've tried, and this color in particular can look really brightening on your cheeks. It's super pretty. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of this over here, and I'm gonna blend using the BK Beauty 107 brush. Ooh, this color is so pretty. It smells good too. It's kind of like a sweet yet fruity scent. I've never had ube, so I don't know what that smells like, but this color is so beautiful, and I love that it has that little hint of purple because it shows up more cool toned on me. That is really beautiful. But I also want to show you a couple of blushes that I have in my collection that I think could be comparable. All right, so the first color I thought of is this one from Juvia's Place, and this is in the shade Blush Lily. So again, it's that really pale pink, but it has a little purple in it as well. And I want to quickly just swatch it next to the Huda one so we can see how the colors compare. It's actually pretty close, but I think that Juvia's Place is a little bit more pink. So we have the Huda on the top. This is Juvia's Place Blush Lily, so it's not quite the same. Next up, we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Blurring Serum Blush, and this is in the shade Baby Pink, but again, it seems like it has a little purple undertone to it. So I'm gonna compare this one as well. This is something that I bought a while ago, and I just never showed it on my channel. Oh yeah, this one is actually very close. Very, very close. So that's this one right here, the third one down. I feel like that is definitely almost the same. And then this third one, I don't think is really going to be a match. This is from Cali Ray, but it's also a blurring blush. And this is in the shade Epic. This one just looks a lot more pink to me, so I don't think it has that same purple undertone to it, but I do love this formula. It's one of my favorite blushes. Not the same at all, so I'll just quickly show you that one. That's the one at the bottom here. So overall, I think we have a winner with the blurring blush from Anastasia. Even though it's called Baby Pink, it has a lot of purple in there. Now, if you don't have either one of these colors, and you like this and you're thinking about buying it, I can honestly say there's not a whole lot of difference between these two formulas. I think the Anastasia one is slightly thinner and the Huda one has more of like a moussey texture. But I also think if you want something that's really blurring, the Huda one is a lot more blurring than the Anastasia. This says it's blurring, but I find it to be just more of a serum, like traditional liquid blush formula. I feel like I see my pores a lot more over on this side than I do over here. So I think I prefer the Huda formula if you don't have either one. So that's just my 2 cents, but if you already have the Anastasia one, I wouldn't go out and buy the Huda because even though I do like the formula a little bit more, they're like pretty much the same color and it might not make sense to have 2 blushes that look pretty much exactly the same once you put them on. So, all right, that's what we had for blush. Next, I want to talk about lips. I got 2 new lip glosses from Sephora. I got the NARS Afterglow Lip Oil and the Makeup by Mario Super Shine lip gloss. So this one's actually an oil, this one's a gloss, but the color that I got in both ended up being the same. And I wasn't even really thinking about it, but I've just been really drawn to this color lately. So the NARS, like look at how pretty that is. It's a beautiful berry shade. And this is called Wondrous. And look at this packaging. It is so beautiful, very high end, luxurious. I love it. And lately I've been buying darker shades of lip glosses and oils because usually they're a little bit more sheer. So I know it's not actually going to show up this color on my lips. So let's try this one on. Doesn't really have a scent to it at all. I'm not noticing anything. I mean, there's just like a mild scent of whatever the ingredients are, but it doesn't seem like added fragrance. Oh wow, okay, this is really thin. It's a true lip oil. And to be honest with you, I'm a little disappointed in the color. This looks like pretty much nothing. I was expecting a little bit more color than this. This is super sheer. I didn't even swatch it on my hand, but I'll show you what this looks like. Yeah, there is literally no color to this at all. You're not going to believe this. Like, look at that. It's supposed to be, this is the darkest color I believe that they had. So if this is showing up like this, what are the rest of them looking like? Just clear? This makes no sense. Why even have a color? Not to mention this formula also feels kind of like you put like olive oil on your lips or something. It's so thin. It's not the type of lip oil that's going to stay put for a while. This feels like it's just going to disappear in 2 minutes and my lips are going to be dry again. It doesn't seem to have that much hydration. So that's kind of a bummer. Let's check out the Makeup by Mario one really quick. So this is in the shade Berry, and again, it's a darker gloss. Hopefully this one has a little bit more pigmentation. I'm gonna swatch it on my hand first so we can see what this looks like. I still have the NARS one there so we can kind of compare the two. Yeah, this one has a little bit more color, but honestly, not much. This is sort of disappointing. All right, so here we have the NARS on the top, Mario on the bottom. Like I said, it's a little bit more color, but not really very much. I'm actually very underwhelmed right now. I just wiped off the NARS one. Let me put this on, see what it looks like. This one actually smells really good though. It has kind of a cookie dough scent or something. It's vanilla, it smells really good. And also it's a thicker gloss, very cushiony, but not sticky. It does feel very nice. I like it, but is it different than any of the other lip glosses I have in my collection? I'm gonna say probably not. I can think of some other berry lip glosses that I have that perform a lot better than this. So let me show you guys a couple of examples. The first one is from Revlon. This is their new Glimmer Lip Oil. I got this a couple of weeks ago. I haven't even had a chance to review these on my channel yet, but I got this in the shade Plum Pop. So again, it looks like a deep dark plum color. And this one is a lot more pigmented. So let me just show you what this is like. All right, so I just put this on top. So we have the Revlon up here, then the NARS, then the Makeup by Mario. So you're definitely getting a lot more color payoff with this one. And I'll show you quickly what this looks like on my lips. This one has no scent, by the way. So yeah, compared to both of the high-end options, this one has so much more color payoff to it. A few more that I really like, the Neutrogena Hydra Boost Lip Gloss. This is in the shade Soft Mulberry. This is one of my favorite formulas of all time. This has such a smoothing effect on your lips. It's a little bit thicker and cushiony, but it's not sticky either. And it makes your lips look so smooth. So this is the Soft Mulberry shade right down here. Another one is the Hard Candy Creamy Lip Oil, and this one is in the shade Berry Bounce. So again, great formula, super affordable. I'm just gonna swatch this one. Again, so much more color payoff. This is the Hard Candy one right down here on the bottom. Another one that I have is the Milk Makeup Odyssey Lip Oil, and this is in the shade Voyage. So again, this type of deeper shade. I don't know why I bought the NARS and the Makeup by Mario, honestly. Now that I look at it, I have so much of this color already. So I'm just gonna swatch this one on top. This is another really beautiful formula. So that's this one up here. It's definitely darker than some of the other ones, but you can kind of see a pattern going on here. The two in the middle are the two new ones that I got that hardly show up at all. All of these other options are better. One more that I can think of is the NYX Fat Lip Oil in the shade That's Chic. I feel like I could just go on and on with these. I don't have any more room, but I'm gonna put this one kind of on the side. It's another formula that I really like. So here we have the NYX one right here. Every single one has more pigmentation than those two in the middle. They hardly show up at all. So no matter what color you have your eye on in the new Makeup by Mario or NARS glosses, just keep in mind that these are some of the deepest shades and they're not showing up at all. So if you see these beautiful colors on the Sephora website, just know that they are likely not going to show up on you at all. These are easily the most disappointing products of the video. I truly feel like I wasted my money on these. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna go about the rest of my day. I'm going to check in with you about 8 hours from now. We'll see how everything is holding up. But so far, I feel like a lot of these products I really didn't need to spend my money on. So I will check back with you all in a little bit. Hey guys, it's about 9 p.m. I just wanted to share an update and how everything is wearing. So let's start with brows. I completely forgot to fill in my brows. I know I said I was going to do that. I never went back to it. But at the same time, I think maybe it'll be easier to see how the brow products held up. So if you look at the Essence side over here, I think it actually looks a lot better than the Anastasia side. This one seems to be kind of falling a little bit. If I take the spoolie and kind of push it back up into place, it goes back to where it was before, but it doesn't seem to have quite as much hold as the Essence side. I think this one is still kind of holding its shape. So I do think this might be worth picking up, especially because it's so similar and it's larger and you get the little spoolie included within the compact. I think it's an amazing deal. It seemed to stay in place all day. Of course, I'm gonna have to keep on trying this, but so far so good. Also, let's talk about this super overpriced Patrick Ta duo. I was hoping I was wrong about these, but to be be completely honest, look at my eyeshadow. This is a Patrick Ta side. Look at how faded it is next to the Urban Decay. This one is holding up so well. And the Patrick Ta one was even starting to crease a little bit. So this was honestly a big disappointment, but I can't even say I was disappointed because I just had a feeling that this wasn't going to be everything that it was promoted to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is pretty, it looks nice on your eyes, but I already have some of the moon dust shadows and some of the other ones that I showed you, and I just feel like they come off even more sparkly or just as much. So if you have these or any of the other ones that I showed, you probably don't need this one. Also, when it comes to the Haus Labs Mascara, it's not smudging under my eyes, which is a good thing, but when I look at my lashes, I think that the Haus Labs, it just looks more weighted down, and the Hourglass one still looks more curled up. And I hope that you guys can tell on camera what it looks like. It's so hard to see lashes most of the time, but I just feel like this new formula is okay, but I don't see myself really reaching for this over some of my tubing formulas. I mean, I love the Hourglass one, the e.l.f. Lash Extender, the Tartelette XL. There's so many formulas that I would choose to use over the Haus Labs. I was hoping that maybe it was going to be something extra special, but I really don't think it is. Also, when it comes to the foundation, I definitely had a better experience with the lifter stick from Maybelline, and I've changed my mind on it a little bit since my first impression. And I think it was because I was wearing that super glowy sunscreen underneath, because I don't feel like it looks as glowy as it did the first time. It's sitting pretty nicely on my skin, and the Lancome foundation stick, which was my favorite, is actually looking a little bit dry. And again, I hadn't used it in the winter before now, so that's probably why. I'm probably just gonna have to use this when the weather's a little bit warmer. I can try to just zoom you guys in so that you can see what these are looking like now, but I just feel like I see some extra texture on this side, and over here it just looks much smoother. And that also could be due to the blurring blush from Huda Beauty, because this cheek looks almost poreless. It looks so beautiful, whereas the other side where I put the Anastasia blurring blush, I see a lot more of my pores over here. So like I said earlier in the video, even though this is called a blurring blush, I find it to be just more like a serum type formula. It doesn't have the moussey texture that the Huda Beauty one has, but I do think that both of them held up pretty well. They look about the same. They're slightly faded, but I can still see the color. I'm impressed with the wear time on both of them for sure. I think it just depends on your preference as far as the texture goes. Also, like I mentioned with the powders, this new one is fun, but I'm not really sure what it does because I didn't notice too much color. It goes on a lot more translucent than I was expecting, and I think even the fairest skin types would not be able to use this as a blush like some people were speculating. So I feel like while this is a fun product, it's interesting, I don't know how functional it is, especially if you have other pink brightening powders. I don't know if you really need it. And you all know how I feel about these new lip products, the Makeup by Mario gloss and the lip oil from NARS. These were so disappointing, such a big letdown. They hardly showed up at all, and I feel like I have so many other berry lip glosses and lip oils in my collection that I didn't need to buy these. I totally regret this. And one thing that I am definitely going to do in 2025 is shop my stash before I go out and buy the latest thing, especially when it comes to things like lip glosses, because I think they don't change all that much. I'm always thinking to myself that this new formula is going to be something different and exciting, and it ends up just being a lip gloss. There's really not much you can do with this type of a formula. So I have to remember the ones that I have in my collection, like these Neutrogena ones that I love so much, and they look amazing on your lips, that I don't need to buy these new ones. Although I will say the one that I'm wearing, this Revlon Glimmer Lip Oil, is so pretty in this berry shade. This is Plum Pop. So if you're thinking about getting a new lip oil, I would just spend less and maybe try the Revlon one instead of these high-end ones, because I don't think they're anything special. So just to sum up, the new products I think are worth it are the Essence Brow Gel. I think this is really good. I also love this Huda Beauty blush. I think it's a gorgeous color and it's really blurring on your cheeks. And also the Maybelline Lifter Sticks foundation. I think this one is worth trying. It's more on the affordable side, so it's not going to break the bank, and it did a nice job on my dry skin. But everything else that I tried today, I felt like I could take it or leave it. I was able to pretty closely dupe or even beat all of the products with things that I already had. So anyway, guys, I hope that this was a helpful video. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. If you are considering trying any of these products, if you already have them, what do you think of them? Let us all know down in the comments below. It always helps everyone out to hear multiple different opinions. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend it with me. I truly appreciate it. And if you do have some extra time and you'd like to watch another video of mine, I'll put something right up there that you could check out next. Thank you all so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.